Hey class, this is Mr. Franta here. Today we're going to be reviewing some of the topics we covered before the quarantine. One of the things we're going to be talking about today is what is albinism, and kind of talking about some of the characteristics that we started learning about right before we left. So to start off with, what is albinism? Albinism is a group of conditions that affects the coloring or pigmentation, or basically like the outside, of an organism. So this will include the skin, hair, and eyes of an organism. The word albinism comes from the Latin word albus, which translates as white. This is a condition that impacts 1 in 20,000 humans around the world, but more specifically in the United States, from what I read earlier today, it's about 1 in 17,000. It is a genetic condition that is passed down from to the child from both parents. We're going to learn a little more about that. So keep on watching. Now we're going to be talking about what causes albinism. Albinism is caused by a mutation or alteration to one or more genes that make melanin. Melanin is the part of your body that causes the pigmentation or color for your eyes, your skin, and your hair. And this is for many other organisms. Albinism is inherited genetic condition, so basically it is passed down from both parents. You need to get the genes for albinism from both mom and dad in order to get it. The condition is a result of one or more defective genes, as you're going to learn later in the video. There are 4 types of albinism, and there's types of albinism that only affect the eyes or that affect the whole body. Okay, depending on what gene is defective, it's going to determine what type of albinism that person has. So next we're going to be talking about the importance of melanin. Melanin provides natural protection against the harmful effects of UV or ultraviolet rays from the sun. So melanin provides that color for our pigmentation of our eyes, hair, and skin. It also absorbs heat from the sun, and melanin also helps to provide sharpness of vision, or helps us see. So these are 2 conditions that are primarily impacted with albinism. Okay. So now we're going to be talking about symptoms and characteristics of albinism. So we're going to divide this between skin and hair and eyes. So first, for skin and eyes, persons with albinism typically can have very pale skin. So depending on the group that these people would come from, it can either be light brown or just very pale white. So this is very pale skin in comparison to what the dominant color would be in that group. Also, it can be patchy skin color depending on the type of albinism. Second, hair can be white, very blonde, or ginger red color depending on the type of albinism again. And then for our eyes, usually these are pale blue or light brown, or may appear pink-red in color. Persons with albinism typically have very poor vision, very sensitive to light. They can also be afflicted with rapid eye movement, or REM, and then also can be cross-eyed. This is due to having poor eye muscle control. Okay. So there are 2 types of albinism. One only affects the eyes, and this condition reduces the coloring of the pigmentation of the iris. The other one we're going to talk about affects both the skin, hair, and eyes. Now overall, the ocular albinism that only impacts the eyes roughly affects 15% of overall those that have albinism. The other 85%, it's going to impact the skin, hair, and eyes. So we're going to go over the 4 subtypes and those that are affected by each. Ocular albinism. This is the type of albinism that only impacts the color or the pigmentation of the eye on the person. So the eye or the iris lacks melanin or the pigmentation. Skin and hair appear normal or only slightly light. This form of albinism accounts for about 10 to 15% of all albinism cases around. Okay, now we're going to be talking about oculocutaneous albinism. This is the most common form of albinism. It impacts the pigmentation or the color of hair, skin, and eyes on the individual. It is made up of 4 subtypes: OCA1, OCA2, OCA3, and OCA4. OCA1. This form of albinism is known for the white hair, very pale skin, and light-colored irises, or the eyes. OCA2. This form of albinism is known for minimal amount of pigmentation, less severe form of albinism. Skin is typically creamy white colored. The hair may be light yellow, blonde, or light brown. OCA3 form of albinism typically affects persons with darker skin. These people will have reddish brown skin, hair color can typically be ginger or red colored, and their eye irises will be hazel or brown in color. OCA4 form of albinism. Typically similar symptoms to OCA2, typically has light colored skin, yellow, blonde, or light brown hair, and occur frequently in Japanese and Korean populations. Okay, so there are no treatments or cures for albinism. People with albinism can work towards easing their daily conditions with the symptoms. So one would be to wear protective clothing to help protect their whole body from the UV radiation. Two would be to wear a hat to help protect against UV radiation on top of their head. Third would be to wear sunscreen to protect exposed portions of their body, so like the arms or their face. And then finally would be to wear glasses to help correct vision issues. Hope this has provided some more information on albinism. If you got any questions, please let us know. Talk to you later.